Daniel Craig is back as Bond, the 25th Bond movie overall. Joe's here. We're going to talk all about it right now. Hey guys, Dan here, and like we said, it's Joe with me for a new movie review. We don't always do these anymore.
No.
Very seldom, actually. On occasion, you'll do them on your channel. In fact, there's recent ones up for Venom and The Many Saints of Newark, which I still have to watch that movie, by the way.
Oh, we haven't watched it yet.
I haven't seen it yet.
Got it.
But right now, we're going to talk about James Bond, No Time to Die, because we just went and saw the premiere night, which is so fantastic.
It's so rare. For,
very rare.
Us,
yeah, and rare. I mean, I had a Friday night off, which is kind of rare. But anyway, I said, well, we got to do, obviously, the big review.
Yeah.
Now, this is going to be mostly spoiler-free. You know, I try to keep my movie reviews for new films spoiler-free. So we're going to do the first however long, spoiler-free. We'll give our grades.
Okay.
And then I think we'll go into spoiler territory after that.
Okay.
And that way, if people, already saw the movie and want to continue watching, they certainly can do that. So let me give you the basics of this almost 3-hour film.
It's long. Yeah.
This is, like I said, the last of the Craig Bonds. And in this movie, he's left active duty for 5 years now.
Mm-hmm.
And so he's out of MI6. There's a new 007, actually.
There is.
And so he's recruited, though, by the CIA to rescue a kidnapped scientist. And that leads to a showdown with a powerful adversary. Who may or may not be Rami Malek.
May not be Mr. Robot.
So,
yeah.
Mr. Robot. So you pointed out there's 4 people as they do the credits.
Or 5.
One thing that's interesting about the credits is they still stick to the early days with all the credits. We play the whole Billie Eilish song over top of the credits.
We got
which I kind of like because I like the visual component of it.
The old school 60s. We got the cards. We got all the motifs.
Yeah,
in there.
all the sort of really cool vibe of the originals.
Silhouettes of people, yeah.
But yeah, so there's 4 people actually that wrote this, but one of them that I kind of forgot about, I had read this a long time ago, is Phoebe Waller-Bridge, who is from Fleabag, and she's sort of the it woman. She's British, and I think that may be why some of the jokes were in the movie, because she's more of a comedy writer. So yeah, I'd forgotten that until I saw her name in the credits. But anyway, briefly, the history of the film. So this was supposed to be one of the ones that came out this was going to be the first really big one when COVID hit. It was going to be this, and I think maybe Fast 9 was like a couple weeks later, and then The Quiet Place 2 was a couple weeks after that. So this is the first one that they shifted in COVID, and they said, well, let's move it to November. So then it went to November 2020. That, of course, didn't happen. So finally, now we get it a year and a half later. You can only see this in theaters. They decided, I think wisely, to put this in theaters only.
Yeah.
As someone that works at a theater, it's been a real struggle with all of these movies going to streamers, which is why Venom did so great last week, breaking all the records. However, this is an almost 3-hour movie, like we said, which is a little bit hard to sit there for. There aren't too many movies I've gone to the theater for that are longer than that. Titanic, Sound of Music, Lord of the Rings. I did see the director's cuts.
A lot of big movies like the Marvel ones tend to go.
I guess, yeah. You know what, Marvel? I saw Endgame in theaters, of course. So you're right. That's
for epic stuff.
Yeah.
Fairly
and some could say this one's epic because it's got, the final James Bond. So, all right. So we mentioned Rami Malek.
Yeah.
He's, the villain in this. But then we also have, it's a whole big cast, as always. Some of the classics are back. Ben Whishaw is back as Q. And then Ralph Fiennes is M. We have Christoph Waltz for a bit, who, left over from Spectre. And then, who is the gal that plays the girlfriend?
The girl from from Spectre, basically.
Leah Sado.
Sure.
Okay. I don't know her from anything but these movies, I guess.
Spectre, yeah.
And then Lashana Lynch plays the new 007.
Who plays his sidekick in The Cuban Girl, actually? Do we know her? I liked her.
Naomi Harris?
Is that her? The girl that...
Ama de Armas, who was in Knives Out with Daniel Craig.
Oh.
Yes, we love her. Ana de
Oh.
Armas. She's one of these up and comers, and she's in I think another movie that's coming out soon. Other than Knives Out too,
and
but
also a shout out to the guy that played Felix, the CIA agent. I like that actor. What's that guy's name?
yeah, he was good too. Hang on, and I'll tell you.
He was in Hunger Games and stuff. He's a good actor.
She's got 3 movies that are coming out. Ana de Armas.
I like her.
She's not in Knives Out too, I guess, which makes sense because why would
the
she
way
be?
that
It's
ended,
a different character, but
yeah,
or different family. But Jeffrey Wright. Yes, I first saw him in Source Code. He plays the guy at the computer in Source Code.
Yeah.
But he's done things for 25 years.
Yeah, I like
he plays in the Hunger Games too.
Yeah, he was that one guy,
Bartleby or whatever his name is.
Smart guy.
All right. So anyway, your history with these films goes much deeper than mine. So I am definitely curious of your thoughts. Me, I've seen one of the Brosnans, and just recently. Which is that the one we did was Goldeneye? I couldn't remember. I thought it was. I thought it was World's Not Enough, but I guess it was Goldeneye. And then I've seen almost all the Craigs.
Almost all?
I didn't see Quantum of Solace because everyone told me it was bad.
Same. I've never heard anybody say it.
It was before I was reviewing movies, so like I didn't see everything. So I was just like, all right, well, I'm not going to worry about that then. But I've seen the other ones, the Casino Royale, Skyfall, Spectre, and now No Time to Die.
No Time.
So I'll give you my sort of reaction to it.
Sure.
And I think I want to hear from you, like I said, because of your history with the character. You've seen most of the movies.
I think I can make it succinct for non-spoiler.
Is that right?
For the first part, yeah.
And we'll talk some spoilers, like I said. I know you're dying to.
I think it's kind of hard to really go into it without it, but I'll try, though, for the first part.
All right, so here's the thing. So I knew I was going to be a little late because I had to work, until about 10 minutes after the movie started. So I saw the glory of working at a theater. I saw the first 20 minutes of it yesterday before they got to the Billie Eilish.
Okay.
What a gunpowder opening scene. So great. All these really cool stunts and, car chases and gunplay and really cool stuff. We learn a little bit about some of the new characters. But really just, wow factor. And unfortunately, I don't think the rest of the film ever lived up to that first 20 minutes.
I agree.
And I think that's a problem.
I agree.
Of course. I think a lot of the movie was very steeped in character development,
meditative,
and learning about some of the new characters while sort of, we all know this is Craig's last movie as Bond, so
hammer that theme
they
home.
really hammered it home. And so we see that over and over again. And I was thinking the same thing. You commented about maybe 45 minutes from the end of the movie, you were like, an action scene for the first time in about an hour. I was thinking the same thing. I was like, man, it's been a while since we've had some sort of, really good action scene. A couple of people died along the way, but there wasn't anything like
big set piece.
Yes.
For a long time.
And I think that's the biggest detriment of the movie is that the 2 hours and 47 minutes is too long.
For the story they have
for what they
it's
did.
Too long.
So that's sort of my positive and negative about it. I will say one other positive. Okay. I think this might be Craig's best Bond acting wise. I think he did a great job here. Because it was a little bit more than your basic, here's the action, here's the villain, he, was a little bit more reflective in this. So I would certainly put it up there with some of his best. On the flip side of that, I don't like Rami Malek very much as an actor, I've discovered. Great as Freddie Mercury.
You see, then, if you want to be evil villain, you have to...
Right, you have to be completely monotone. Yeah, he's great for that.
He's got the look. They got him in the little kimono.
I know, and they made up his face so he's all like pockmarked and.
Well, that's classic Bond. You got
classic Bond. You got to have the disfigurement. I got it.
Mustache. Yeah. It's true.
It's true. But okay. But here's what I'll say. Before we cut to you, I don't know what it is about these movies and Jason Bourne and Mission Impossible.
I was thinking all those too.
That really they sort of. Are these great action movies that invigorate people and they're like, oh, this is so cool, this is so great.
Yeah.
And the Fast series tries so hard and misses the mark every time. And I can't figure out why. Like, I don't know what it is specifically. Because these are formulaic.
Those other movies you mentioned, those series, they're formulaic too, but they're a little smarter.
I guess maybe that's it.
And they take themselves a little more seriously.
Yeah, I guess maybe that's it. They're a little smarter.
A lot of people like the dumb, fun popcorn of Fast and Furious, obviously.
Yes, and I can't deny that they're successful.
Different tone.
But I feel like when I think of some of the big opening scenes for these movies, like the Mission Impossible ones always get me, but Skyfalls is great.
I'll tell you what the difference
as well.
For all those other movies, for as big as they are, they still try to keep it grounded in something.
I guess that's true. I guess that's true.
With those stunts,
there's something sort of possible about it.
Except for maybe some of the scenes.
I also didn't appreciate that there wasn't that many gadgets in this movie.
But they had their
minimal.
Sequence they had a couple old school ones when Q was introducing.
Yeah, some classic ones, and they had some classics in the beginning with the car,
with the little balls that explode.
But I was expecting maybe something a little more for the finale.
It's got about as many gadgets as were in Skyfall. Because they thought that one was going to be like the last one too.
I guess that's true. So, for a while they thought that would be last. All right, 50th. So that's my sort of positives and negatives. You seem to agree with me on a lot of those issues.
Yeah.
But I think I was sensing that maybe you had more issues than I did with it.
Well,
and that could be because of your history with the character.
A little bit, and it's actually kind of a complicated thing. And I'll try. I thought of a way to maybe summarize. I also have the caveat that I am quite tired watching this film.
You worked all. We both worked all day, and then we saw a 3-hour movie.
I mean, I've been up since like 5:30 in the morning.
So
I'll admit that if it wasn't quite as invigorating, I won't give that too much to the film. But even so, I was still paying attention quite a bit, and so I found things. So let's see. I think that you have some good points there, Dan, and I agree. I agree with I think your biggest problem being the length. And I think that there's some stuff with the pacing, like because there was that long section with the reflective, and there's basically no action for almost an hour.
Yeah. The length wouldn't have been an issue if they
had mixed it up.
I think you said it with the pacing,
and
I think that's the issue.
It's also, I think, partially because the story, even though there's a lot of emotional moments that are kind of hit upon, they have the right cues of music and some good performances.
Oh, God, the music's so great.
The score was good.
And Mission Impossible does that too. I think that is something that lifts it up from Fast and Furious. Not that the street rap is a bad thing,
but you got the orchestral and
it's classic in these movies.
And they whoever composed it really get that in sync with the emotions of the scene. So stuff like that works well cinematically. But the problem is the script kind of doesn't go quite as deep as it seems like it's going to for that runtime. Like as I was thinking, like okay, while we're in this hour downtime, being reflective and thinking about his career as Bond and getting old, all that stuff. We're moving around so much, just kind of meeting all these different characters and flirting with the plot. We don't actually go quite as deep with any of them as we could. So it's like not quite as much depth as it seems like it's trying to have.
Yeah.
So that kind of bugged me that it's like, I see what they're going for.
And
but
you had mentioned some of the comedy being a little off-putting too.
Well, here's the thing. That's also a big issue I have with tone, which builds up to my biggest issue with the movie. The tone was a little weird because James Bond traditionally, and I know the Daniel Craig movies are a little more serious and grounded, but James Bond has always had the quips. There is always the cheesy stuff. Right. And he had some in this movie that were there. They were good and clearly there.
Yeah.
But there were some other jokes.
A few characters did, I think.
Oh, yeah. There were a few. But there were also a lot of jokes where it just seemed like people were kind of almost irritated and kind of like making fun of some of the situations.
Yeah, some of the tropes.
It was more meta and it wasn't quite quippy. So... And that was one of the big issues I had was that on one hand, we're still trying to kind of do this more serious Daniel Craig Bond movie that has all these themes, but half the time they're making fun of it and not in the traditional way. So it's like, it seemed like tonally was a little at war with itself sometimes.
And see, that didn't bother me.
And I was thinking maybe if that's maybe metatextual, that's fine. But the bigger problem might be in something I might have a slight disagreement with you about. Is that I think that Daniel Craig did do a good job with the performance in this movie. I think a lot of people did. The performances were good. But I'm not sure I'd say it was a very good James Bond performance.
It's funny you say that because I was thinking towards the end of it, this actually is a pretty good movie, but I'm not sure if it's a good James Bond movie.
And honestly, I want to expand on this a little bit without spoilers, but
so that was a little bit of an issue I had.
But this was kind of what summed it up for me, especially as the movie was ending and I was thinking about it. I'm like, well, the clear thought came in my head of my opinion on this movie. as I was thinking, if this wasn't a James Bond movie, I would have less issues with it.
Interesting.
Because
they've built up this...
because they built up Daniel Craig's Bond a specific way, right?
Right.
And I could see, all right, on one hand, I'm thinking maybe am I being too harsh because the direction they go with this character, they're trying to get him to change and grow, so maybe his vulnerability comes down, he acts differently. So, and they have kind of done that in some of the other Bond movies, but then the character usually gets rebooted because you can't go too far. It's like the superhero argument. They can't really develop too much or they're not going to do the same thing. Mm-hmm. But that didn't really seem quite like it to me because even based on this version of the character in the other movies, it seemed like he was a different person from the inflections in his voice, the way he talked, his personality.
It's been so long since I even saw... Well, because Spectre was like 6 years ago.
Well, that's a bad example.
And a bad movie.
But watch, seriously, even though they're trying to have like connections to other movies and they're trying to develop his character, I don't have a problem with that in theory, but his performance... He seems like a different guy. Like if you watch Skyfall, or you watch Casino Royale, he seems even the way he talked. And Daniel Craig's a good actor, but he felt like such a different character that it didn't seem like the Bond we were following.
Is it because they were maybe going for this 5 years retired thing, and so he is sort of a different person? But that's do you think?
I mean, in theory, yes, but. Even if somebody changes, they don't seem like a different character.
Come across to you.
He didn't seem like even this version of James Bond, and that was mostly due to the performance, not necessarily the writing. With some of the things they go into, I was fine with that, but the way he handled the character, he just felt like a different person. It was very weird for me.
Okay.
And like I said, if it wasn't James Bond, it was some other spy movie,
you wouldn't have as much of an issue.
Probably would give it like a higher grade or something.
Okay, interesting.
It just didn't seem right to me.
Well, this was directed by...
He directed this,
I wanted to look at that. Cary Jojo Fukunaga, and you will know him best as first season True Detective director.
Oh.
And he also did this movie called Beasts of No Nations that was very good, one of Netflix's first big hits.
Yeah, with Idris Elba.
With Idris Elba. So that's kind of what he's most known for, I would say.
Huh.
Yeah, I mean, I think the pacing here is an issue. But all right, so let's...
Oh, and also agree with you about the villain. He was also barely in the movie.
Well, yeah, he did. I mean, he didn't show up for so long in the movie.
And I know that I shouldn't...
Good old Rami.
Traditionally, yes, Bond villains are, kind of one-dimensional. Yeah. But we're trying to...
But I didn't think Waltz was a good villain in Spectre.
No, there was the goofy...
It's one of the worst parts of Spectre for me.
And this villain was, even by the standards of classic Bond, was pretty one-dimensional. And throughout the movie... Dan, as I was watching, I'm still thinking, I guess I kind of get he's got an issue with, being jealous about the girlfriend, but why does he have such an issue with Bonds? There's no motivation.
Context. There's no context for that.
I didn't really understand why he was doing
I can't deny that. You're right.
Bond thought best developed. Anyway,
you're right. All right, so let's give our grades, and then we'll sort of get into a little spoiler discussion, too, for the last, 10 minutes.
Sure.
I think I'm higher than you.
Probably. I don't even know what I want to give it.
I'm sort of between two things. Looking back at my grades for the previous Bond films that I've seen with Craig, my favorite is Skyfall, which I gave, I believe, a B+ to. In retrospect, that could even be an A- probably.
That's a pretty good movie.
And then Casino Royale is probably in that same range.
That's my favorite.
And then Spectre for me, I believe, was a C. So I think this one lies somewhere in between the two.
That's about right.
I think it could be a B, except for some of those issues that we talked about. So I'm actually going to leave it a little bit lower.
Okay.
With a B-.
Okay, well that makes me feel better about giving a C+ then.
Yeah.
Because I want to give it a B- because there are parts of the movie that I thought were really good.
Yeah, and I'm the same way. I want to give it a B, but I'm just like, I just can't.
But also think about this too, Dan. With what they were trying to go for when we get into spoilers, the build-up, I think even a B seems way too low for what they were going for.
Yeah, you know what I mean? You're right. You're right.
And it's like, really? If this big send-off is a B movie?
You're right.
Like, it's got too many issues.
All right, so B- is... But now you'll be horrified to know that was my same grade for Venom.
I know. And here's the thing. Here's the thing, though. My grade for Venom, Let There Be Carnage, would probably be close because, once again, for different reasons. You see, I think that movie was really bad, but it was more entertaining.
Yes,
it knew what it wanted to do,
and it knew what it wanted to do.
This movie, I don't know if it knew what it wanted to do.
Yeah. All right. So now that we've got our grades out of the way, let's talk spoilers.
Which one do you want to talk about first?
So, well, let's talk about the big one.
Yeah.
The big send off to this character by straight murdering him.
Yeah, they killed James Bond.
Which, look, obviously, I think, unless I'm mistaken with the lore, I always considered the Craig Bond movies a complete reboot of the series anyway, which is why Casino Royale was the first one, first book, whatever. So I always sort of considered that sort of a standalone series, as opposed to, I feel like, maybe the other ones.
Well,
but not having seen them, I don't know.
Well, it's like anything else. Whenever you're rebooting something, you're kind of right. But the weird thing about James Bond is, it's kind of one of those constantly flowing things where it's all basically the same character.
Right. That's kind of what I thought. Just maybe updating the technology or whatever.
So while it might not be canon specifically, symbolically, this is the first time the character has literally died in the movie.
Right.
So it's a big
I knew
deal.
that. I knew they never killed him before.
No. So they actually killed. James Bond's always been,
which is bold.
Very bold. Like, usually not indestructible, but he always went. He never to actually kill.
Yeah.
This iconic a character that's such a traditional hero.
That was a bold move.
And I liked it.
I liked it. I liked that, and it does make me want to give it a higher grade. But I can't do it.
But that's what I said. That's what I was talking about. It's like, I really like this scene. I'm like, this powerful moment about the sacrifice.
And it was.
But I'm also thinking,
I'm not emotional. It was a good emotional moment.
It was emotional. But I'm telling you, the whole time I was thinking about it, I'm like, but I'm not sure if it's James Bond making the sacrifice or some other guy.
You're right.
So it was it was just...
You're right.
There's something about that direction.
They gave him a daughter, of course, so she's going to continue on in Bond world.
Remember they pretended like that wasn't a twist, but we totally knew? That was so basic.
Look, the woman was a known liar. So when she told him it wasn't his... He even says, like, oh, well, she's got my piercing blue eyes.
Oh, no.
Oh, no, well,
and then
you're
she's
crazy.
like, oh, it's definitely not yours. Well, who else have we seen her in these movies? Nobody. Is it Rami Malek's?
Right, and it's 5 years later, and clearly this girl's about 4 or 5 years old. So, like, there it is. Do the math. So, yeah, I that wasn't much of a shocker.
So he's got a kid and he dies.
He's got a kid, dies. So I liked the one thing. I liked the dying. Bold move. I didn't really... Them giving him the kid. I mean, it could have been anybody's kid.
And he's protecting her.
He would have...
He would have made the sacrifice anyway.
He would have done the same thing, whether it was his kid or not.
So it's because of his kid. He always is trying to save the world.
I think because it's his kid, obviously we're supposed to feel legacy then coming from that. And, she'll be the next super spy in 30 years, whatever it is. I think that's what we're supposed to feel afterwards. Right?
I actually just thought it's that emotional connection of saving his daughter. But you're right. If he bonded with the girl anyway because he cared about her, it would have been the same thing.
It wouldn't matter.
So I don't know about that either.
But the bloodline continues.
Sure, maybe.
And all of that.
Maybe.
So I get it.
Jane Bond.
Or
Matilda Bond or whatever.
Matilda Bond. I don't mind that they did that. But yeah, it wasn't necessary. But I do like that they killed him. It was very bold.
I liked that was too. And also I'll say I mean really those are the biggest spoilers.
Those are the big spoilers.
The one spy guys, Felix dies. If you cared about him, you get shot.
Yeah, that's fine. But spoiler wise, I think those are the biggies.
The one guy's bad, but you'll figure that out quickly. The one agent guy who's
that's pretty obvious. Not in this first scene, but shortly after.
We're like, oh yeah. By the way,
the interrogation scene, I think I was like, this guy's not like on the level.
No, but also the timeline. Oh. I did like the part of the opening scene where they basically just make it a horror movie for like the first 10 minutes.
That was pretty intense. Good October release.
But makes me kind of wonder about Rami Malek's age because he's supposed to be like 20 years, 30 years older than, and I'm like, he's the same age at this. So that was like, even with the makeup.
Yeah, I don't know.
You haven't tried to age him up. So that was a little weird. I'm like, is that Blofeld? No, it's the other guy.
Yeah.
By the way.
How good does Daniel Craig look? Remember that scene where he was taking the shower?
Yeah.
My God, is he cut up?
Pectorals.
He's got to be
50s.
I was going to say almost 60.
He's almost 60.
He's got to be. Well, I'm going to look.
And this is also a traditional James Bond thing, but I'll admit, as I was thinking, and they didn't.
Oh, he's 53. All right.
Okay, all right. That's
50s, but still, he looks jacked.
good. He's very, very. That's probably he's retiring too. Can't keep that up. But, but no, really, that's another thing. This movie, like I said, I don't mind the take, but not quite as sexed up. And in that sense,
no.
But I was still thinking, of course, okay, we've got,
a little bit
that traditional, I guess, imbalance there of casting. You've got Daniel Craig in his 50s, still Bond, and his female partners are like 20,
30. And yeah, also, she's very young.
They showed that recall to Eva Green from the first movie.
Yes.
With Casino Royale, like he still loved her. And I saw the date. I'm like, wait, she was supposed to be 23 when that happened? When she died, she was 20. This agent was 23. I'm like, what?
She probably was. Eva Green, though, probably was about 23 in that movie.
But she didn't look it at the time.
No, she's always looked older.
She's always, which is fine. But
she's always had this mature, sort of smoky thing about her.
Which is why I think a lot of people like her, myself included. But like, it just makes me, that discrepancy of age, like for the female agent, like, oh, so, wow.
Well, that's a Bond classic.
Which is fine.
And, I feel like Bond actually, and they didn't do a lot of sexy women during the song.
No, even during the Silhouette. There was
even during
no sex
Billie Eilish. But I do feel like Bond might be the one franchise or whatever that sort of gets a pass for that kind of thing.
It does.
It's been grandfathered in. It's been 50 years now of this.
And I don't want to.
I feel like it's okay.
I don't. Thank you.
Right?
I don't want to go too off into it, but it is a side thing because we live in a time where even our media or our entertainment's trying to be more PC and inclusive and get past these sexist ideas. But you're right.
And clearly there was a lot of diversity in the casting of this movie.
Yeah. And that's what I want to get to.
Certainly part of it,
I saw an interesting video somebody came up with about commenting about James Bond as kind of having some of these more toxic elements. But in a weird way, it does kind of get a pass because we know it's not too serious.
Right.
Like he's a suave guy, but it's machismo. We don't care. Like James Bond does kind of get a pass, and it's kind of nice to just, I don't know.
And I think that's okay.
Have a traditional.
It's a tradition.
Nobody we get. Although,
especially with Sean Connery passing last year, whatever it was. Sort of that. Look, he's the original classic.
As long as
ladies' man.
James Bond's not slapping around women like he used to in some of the movies.
Yes,
where we get that might be better. But there is one thing I know was probably,
and he's very sexy.
No, well, he's got the traditional.
We know that
machismo.
Yeah,
but. Yeah, one thing that I feel like has been coming up a lot in these movies is kind of almost like this idea of attacking the traditional straight male hero.
Okay.
And so I can bet you some people are complaining about the new 007 being a black woman and stealing the thunder. I actually liked her.
I liked her too. And she had some of the good jokes in the movie.
Although I was wondering about her glasses. Her sunglasses, those square ones.
Oh, they were weird.
I thought they were sticking out too far from her face.
Well, I thought maybe they were spy glasses or something. But they didn't do anything with them, so maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah, I was just like, I thought
when I first saw them, I thought, oh, there must be some kind of special lenses or something.
But I liked the way they handled her character, and I really liked the Cuban girl that was in
Ana de Armas. Yeah, she was good. She's always great.
I was mad she wasn't in the movie more. I thought she was.
I know she wasn't in it that long.
She was like great.
So that was good.
So there's some good Bond girls.
All right.
Billie
Eilish.
The song was good.
Okay, let's quickly rank the Craig songs. We know Chris Cornell's number one. All right, that's not even an option.
Well, dang.
So that's number one. But the 2 through 5, very quickly we'll do that. So you got the Adele Skyfall, Sam Smith Writings on the Wall for Spectre, Jack White, and I forget who the woman was with him that did the Quantum of Solace one.
I don't remember that one.
What the heck was that called? It was something Power of Two or something. Now I got to look it up. And then the Billie Eilish, No Time to Die. Right?
Well, wasn't with Spectre there were supposed to be 2 different versions or something? Wasn't there like?
Oh, was there?
Wasn't there supposed to be one of them? They changed it when they released it. Was it? I originally said.
I don't know.
I remember when we were reviewing it. There was something.
Oh, Another Way to Die. Alicia Keys and Jack White. That is a good song. All right, so here's my rankings.
Tell me.
I think Sam Smith's is the worst. Writings on the Wall. Very boring.
Okay.
I think, and I love Billie Eilish, but I think this one is just above that. I think that's number 4. And then I think Jack White and Alicia Keys. And then I think Adele is number 2.
I'm going to agree with that because
that's my order.
None of the other ones really stick out to me because you just stole my number one. Of course,
that's not a discussion. It's one of the all-time best Bond themes,
and not just as a great song, but even the opening. I've rewatched that opening. It's just that opening beautiful.
Is so good.
With all the cards shooting as
that was the first thing I ever saw for Bond.
My name. The opening
is that opening. portion of Casino Royale with the song
it's
too.
Beautiful.
It's great. It opens in black and white.
And they get
so
shot.
Cool.
The guys turning to different cards because it's all taking place at the casino. I love that.
So look, that's not an option.
I know.
It's always
that's my favorite.
All right. Is that your favorite of all time?
No.
All right.
My favorite of all time.
I'll tell you what my favorite of all time is.
Hold on.
Hold on. I just remembered one though. Realistically, it's Live and Let Die. But as a Duran Duran fan, I think View to a Kill is a great song, and it was a #1 pop hit. Great song.
Okay, but
we should rank the songs at some point.
We should when we go
the
through
Madonna one's good too.
But separate, just not as an individual song they take in, but one that is more associated specifically with Bond. Because
Goldfinger.
Hold on.
Hold
on. I'm trying to go back through them. Actually, you know what? You're going to laugh at me.
Tell me.
I do like Goldfinger.
Yeah.
I do like Diamonds Are Forever. I like a lot of the classics.
Okay.
Oh, actually, it's a tie. It's a tie, if I may.
Okay.
Well, actually, it's not
I'll let you have a tie.
Okay, for posterity, because even though I don't think it's the best movie, my favorite James Bond movie is The Man with the Golden Gun.
Okay.
And the song The Man with the Golden Gun is great.
Who does that? I don't even know that one.
I forget. The Man with the Golden Gun. It's 70s. I
don't know it.
Well, it's great.
Okay.
We'll talk about it sometime.
Yeah.
Very good.
All right.
But my actual favorite song is actually Die Another Day, the Madonna one.
It's a great tune.
It's really catchy.
It really is a great tune. As a Madonna fan, I love it as well.
I mean, like it's maybe not the best, but no. I like it.
I think Live and Let Die is the best. But my personal favorite is Duran Duran.
Yeah.
Your personal favorite's Madonna. I get it.
I mean,
makes sense.
But the best one's Goldfinger. Like, actually,
I guess for Bond.
You know that almost transcends bands and stuff. That's the.
You're right.
Well, actually, no. You don't want to know something?
Oh my God!
No,
what?
Dan,
all right, we're wrapping this.
Dan,
yes, tell me.
My favorite Bond theme is actually just the original James Bond theme.
Oh,
Dr. No.
Well,
dun, 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 dun. That's actually.
I'm not sure if that counts because that's in every movie though.
But that was the first theme.
I guess that's true. I guess that's true.
There it is.
All right. Well, yeah, that doesn't count.
Did you like how short this video was?
Oh my God! All right, well,
this is why I don't.
Hopefully you enjoyed. I know. I try to make my standalones between about 8 and 12 minutes.
Look, maybe you'll get some
sometimes longer though for big movies.
Maybe you'll get some Roll in the Mighty.
Half hour, that's rare.
I mean,
yeah. But yes, listen. Check out Merlin the Mighty because he's got the Venom up. He's got Many Saints of Newark soon. Dune.
Halloween, maybe?
Halloween Kills, perhaps.
Is there anything else out this month? I think that's it.
That's it.
Okay.
Although we haven't gotten Candyman at my theater yet. You might do a Candyman one, too.
I'll review that. I'll review it.
Because I want to see that, too. But that's it. Thank you guys for watching. Let us know what you think about the movie, the Bond themes,
and any
other things. How was Daniel Craig in this movie for you?
How were his abs? How were they for you?
How were the abs? For me, they worked.
They worked.
They were great. Thank you guys for watching. As always, Joe, a great time, a great chat.
Thank you for having me.
Yep. We'll talk next time. Bye.
Very brief.